more ball, fewer infractions. This begins in 2020. The future is near. More access, more everyone, more everything.
June 12th, 2019, show number 17.
This is history begun. This is the XFL.
What is up, my friends? Welcome to another edition of the XFL Week in Review. I am your host, The Mark. And on this week's show, we have XFL Summer Showcase Weekend in Dallas. We go over notables in Dallas. We go over notables happening in Houston as well. We had two showcases, Dallas and Houston, plus the latest coaching staff hires and more. Lots to get to this show. So how do you get in touch with the show? Well, it's simple. You email podcast@xflnewshub.com with your MP3 or your thoughts, or you just use the Twitter. We're using the hashtag XFL Army because that's what we are. Cutoff time is 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. Remember to leave us a review on iTunes and we'll read it on the show. That's what gets the word out to the XFL universe. And remember, we got a question of the week, which is the best head coach, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator in the XFL. We got your takes on that later on in the show and so much more. But before we get into all the news and all your social media stuff, we have a couple things, housekeeping things. First things first, we've been talking about it for a while, and now it is finally here. That's right, the XFL News app for iPhone and iPads is officially released to the wild interwebs. So we're excited to bring that. So we have, if you're an Android user, we have the Android app. Now we have one for iPhone Apple nerds. Yes, get all your breaking XFL news and information from XFL News Hub. All you have to do is visit iTunes. Just go to iTunes, search XFL or search XFL News Hub. iTunes, it's right there. No, so you guys subscribe to the podcast. Then you go and download the phone app and you're all good. It's got push notifications. It's got the latest news from us. You can view comments on your phone. You can share articles. You can favorite articles. And of course, you get this wonderful podcast as well. So yes, we are excited to finally launch our iPhone app. So we have an iPhone app and an Android app. Who else out there but the number one source of all things XFL news has got you covered? We got all the social medias. We got Twitter. We got Instagram. We got Facebook. We got over 10,000 followers on Facebook. Over 2,000 on Twitter. We have, I don't know how many on Instagram. I forget. When was the last time I checked? Let's take a look. Instagram, we got almost 3,000 followers on Instagram. We're all over the place. Plus, we got them on XFL News Hub on YouTube. And now we got the iPhone app and the Android app. So that's housekeeping number one. So head over, download it, leave us a review on iTunes for the iPhone app. We're really excited about to bring that to you. Second bit of news is that I, the Mark, will be at the XFL DC Summer Showcase on Saturday. That would be Saturday the 15th. So I will be there. If you're going to be there too, if you're a season ticket holder, part of the media or whatever, or if you're one of the players and you happen to like our site and you listen to the show, I'll be there. How you can find me, I'll post pictures of what I look like on social media on Saturday morning. But basically, I always wear my XFL hat and I always wear it backwards. That's how you go. I'm 6 foot tall, probably wear a tank top, sun's out, that means guns out. And we're excited to come there. We're going to have full coverage. We're bringing video camera. We're taking pictures. We'll be posting stuff. We're so excited to be there. So that is this Saturday. I will be, the Mark, will be at the XFL DC Showcase, Summer Showcase with my hat on backwards. That's how you can find me with my XFL hat. And come up and say hello. And we'll talk XFL. And speaking of talking XFL, another announcement is that yours truly, the Mark, will now be on 1160 AM KBDT in Dallas, Fort Worth area, Texas, AM radio. That's right, 1160 KBDT on Sports Day, weekly now, with John Clemens. That airs on Saturdays and Sundays. Again, that's 1160 AM KBDT. You get to hear yours truly, the Mark, on terrestrial radio, talking all things XFL. We really get in depth, like we do in this show, talking up XFL, focusing on XFL Dallas franchise, but also XFL in general. Really excited to work with John Clemens on that one. It was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So that will be on Saturdays, Sundays as well. That's a weekly thing. So you'll hear me on the podcast. Then you can switch over. Well, we'll post links to the show on our social media stuff too once it's all out and about. So you got the iPhone app, fans. Army, I should say. You got the Mark showing up at the XFL DC Summer Showcase. Remember, XFL hat on backwards. Love to meet some XFL fans out there. I'm so psyched to be there. And then now on Dallas and Fort Worth AM radio station 1160 AM KBDT Sports Day with John Clemens on Saturdays and Sundays, talking up all things XFL. You didn't think that was going to happen when you loaded this show up. When you started the show, did you? You just thought you were just going to go right into, no, we got a lot of stuff going on. And we're bringing on new writers, so much stuff going on. So, without further ado, folks, let's just get into the week that was the XFL. So our Texas summer showcases are wrapped up, but we wanted to break down some of the notable names that were at the event. So this was the first of 8 XFL summer showcases taking place this month. The event took place in Dallas, Texas, the first one. The showcase is for invite players only. You can't just show up and be like, hey man, I want to play for the XFL. You need to be invited. Now, they broke it down to 2 lists. There was 50 players on an offensive sheet and 50 players on a defensive sheet. And these were there. It basically told the position, their name, it kind of gave them an ID number, and the college that they went to. Now, some notable names on this list. We have Landry Jones, quarterback. He played college football at Oklahoma. He was selected by the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 4th round, 115th overall of the 2013 NFL Draft. Now, I have some Steeler fan buddies that we were talking. And I was like, I think Landry Jones, I mean, looking at his stats, they were good. They're like, no, he was terrible, this, that, and the other thing. I hate Landry Jones. And I'm like, I'm excited for him. He's a guy I'm putting up there as the top. And people that were at the event was saying he was throwing well, that he's a good player. Aaron Rapowski, a fullback, he played college at Oklahoma, was drafted by the Green Bay Packers in the 6th round of the 2015 NFL Draft. Lance Dunbar, he played college at University of North Texas and was signed by the Cowboys as an undrafted free agent in 2012. Keone Ile, I'm probably saying that wrong, played at Missouri and was drafted by the Carolina Panthers in the 2nd round of the 2014 NFL Draft. Kristen Michael, he played college football at Texas A&M and was drafted by the Seahawks in the 2nd round of 2013 NFL Draft. He was on my fantasy football team at one point. Sterling Moore, he played for the Arizona Hotshots of the Alliance of American Football. Ahmad Dixon, safety, was a member of the Edmonton Eskimos. He was selected by the Cowboys in the 7th round of the 2014 NFL Draft. He played at Baylor. Marquise Huff played college football at Wyoming and was drafted by the Tennessee Titans in the 4th round of the 2014 NFL Draft. I think he played for the Ravens as well. Frank Alexander, defensive end, played at University of Oklahoma. You're starting to see a pattern here. Drafted by the Carolina Panthers in the 4th round of the 2012 NFL Draft. Andre Pipkins, defensive end, played at Texas Tech, signed with the Redskins as an undrafted free agent in 2017. Keith Mumphrey, wide receiver, played at Michigan State and was drafted by the Houston Texans in the 5th round of the 2015 Draft. And Kyler Christ, QB, played for the University of Tennessee and Stanford University as well. Some notable NFL and AAF players from the XFL Houston Summer Showcase. They released their list of players. Remember, this was invite only for the Summer Showcase. This took place in Houston, Texas. There was 100 players total, 50 offensive, 50 defensive. Houston was the 2nd stop in the XFL Summer Showcase tour. We went over some of those earlier. The league already announced prior to the event taking place that Will Hill, DeMarcus Aries, and Kenny Hillard will be attending the event. If you don't know much about these guys, Will Hill was a safety at University of Florida and member of the 2009 BCS National Championship team. He had stints with the Giants and Baltimore Ravens. He last played for the Orlando Apollos of the AAF. DeMarcus Aries was a wide receiver, played at Houston, and was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers, University of Houston, by the Steelers in the 7th round of the 2016 Draft. He had stints with the Patriots and Bears, last played for the San Antonio Commanders of the AAF, and Kenny Hillard is a running back at Louisiana State University for the LSU. Houston Texans drafted him in the 7th round of the 2015 NFL Draft. He played for the Skins in 2017 and last played for Memphis Express of the AAF. Those are the players that the XFL announced. Now, some other guys, Robert Meachem, wide receiver, was drafted by the New Orleans Saints 27th overall in the 2007 NFL Draft and played 7 seasons with the Saints from 2007 to 2011, then again in 2013 and to 2014. I had him on my fantasy football team at one point. Alonzo Moore, wide receiver, played with the San Antonio Commanders of the AAF. We talked about DeMarcus Ayer, already a Pittsburgh Steelers 7th-round pick, San Antonio Commanders. Ladarius Perkins, running back, played for the Edmonton Eskimos and the Birmingham Iron of the AAF. Trey Williams, running back, played for San Antonio Commanders of the AAF. Zach Mettenberg was drafted by the Tennessee Titans in the 6th round of the 2014 NFL Draft and played for Memphis Express. Nick James, defensive tackle, played for the Birmingham Iron. Tanner Magnum, the QB, played for the BYU Cougars. Josh Robinson, a running back, was drafted by the Colts in the 6th round of the 2015 NFL Draft. And Bradley Silivier, cornerback, played for the Birmingham Iron in the AAF. What you'll notice about each of these events, in the Dallas one and in the Houston one, is that they're kind of like local players. Because I was like, wait a second, there's no University of Maryland, there's no Virginia Tech, there's no Rutgers guys, and any of these things. And I have a feeling as we move to New York and DC, we'll start to see more of those guys. And then in Tampa, you'll probably see some more of the Florida Gator type guys as we move along with the summer showcase. The XFL is actively pursuing a trademark for He Hate Me. According to Josh Gerben, Esquire, a trademark attorney who posted a video and wrote about the situation on his website, the XFL is planning to inscribe the phrase on a number of goods, specifically clothing items. We were wondering what the XFL was going to do about the history and whether or not they would recognize it or would be part of anything. Well, He Hate Me is in line, made popular by XFL legend Rod Smart, who took full advantage of using the back of his jersey and the XFL rules at the time, which permitted player jerseys to be stitched with whatever words they wanted to proudly display his nickname, He Hate Me. Smart explained the origin of the phrase in a January 30th, 2004 article in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, which he basically said, quote, basically, my opponent is going to hate me. After I win, he's going to hate me. It is what it is. It's a saying I was saying when I'd feel something wasn't going my way. For example, when I was on the squad in Vegas, the coach was putting other guys in. If I felt I'm better than them, hey, he hate me, close quote. Smart wore those words on his jersey during the XFL's first and lone stint in 2001 and continued using the nickname after the XFL disbanded on his Twitter handle at He Hate Me until October of 2018. It's still there. He just hasn't posted anything on it. The XFL, however, wants to acquire the rights of the popular phrase and submitted a trademark application for He Hate Me back in 2016. As Gerber explained, the XFL's application has not matured into a registration because the XFL is required to make commercial use of the goods identified in the application, various clothing items, prior to the registration being granted. It's understood that the XFL requested an extension of time to make commercial use of the trademark, but the United States Patent Trademark Office asked the XFL to provide Smart's consent as the trademark was properly associated with him. The XFL in return said the trademark didn't identify any individual and that Smart will not be connected to any of XFL's goods. The XFL's response to ISPTO is proof that the league is attempting to register the trademark without Smart's consent, allegedly. Smart hasn't commented yet on the issue, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, but it seems the XFL will have to wait up for a while before they can inscribe the phrase on their goods, so you might not be seeing a He Hate Me branded gear anytime soon. Smart played for the Las Vegas Outlaws during his time at the XFL and was seen as one of those who fully embraced the league's approach to football and sports entertainment. The fact that he used an attention-grabbing phrase is a testament to his intention to entertain. He'd originally planned to print different names on his jersey every week, but fully adopted He Hate Me after the phrase became a national sensation. So we remember the old 2001 XFL footballs with all the black skin and the red lettering. Those old footballs were very cool and helped the league stand out. Well, according to a post on the XFL's Instagram, the old balls are gone, but look for a new style of their footballs coming soon. As the XFL month-long summer showcase kicks into high gear, photos are coming out of the event made fans wonder what was going on with their footballs. We have photographs on XFL News Hub, and you can see The footballs are a little different from your standard football that you would buy in a store. The XFL confirmed this change by answering a fan's question. Lil Frog _1 asked at XFL, "Are the XFL footballs going to have the same design when the XFL first started?" The XFL response was, "There will be a new design." Close quote. Are these prototypes they're trying out? Will they go away from the pigskin brown color and have a full color ball? We don't know, but they are testing balls right now. What do you think? Leave us a comment. What kind of design do you think the XFL new footballs should be? Should it be a full color like the old school, or maybe a little something different? XFL Seattle announced a slew of new coaching hires for their franchise under head coach GM Jim Zorn. The biggest name of the bunch was former San Antonio Commanders of the Alliance of American Football, AAF, head coach Mike Riley. Other names included defensive line coach Donald Johnson, offensive line coach Steve Smith, running backs coach Butch Broncharoff, wide receivers coach Larry Kirksey, and defensive backs coach Marcus Ungro. Riley was a head coach at Nebraska from 2015 to 2017 and Oregon State from 2003 to 2016. He was head coach of the NFL San Diego Chargers from 99 to 2001 and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers of the CFL from 87 to 90. Donald Johnson is a former defensive line coach for the Arizona Cardinals. He had coaching stops with the Bears, Raiders, and the Chargers as well. Steve Smith is a former head coach at Lincoln University. He was the offensive coordinator for Albany State from 2013 to 2016. Before that, he was assistant offensive line coach for the Kansas City Chiefs in 2017. Butch Bancroft, saying it wrong, is currently the head coach at Cedar Park Christian High School in Bothell, Washington. He's famous for building a football dynasty at Bellevue High School in Washington before an investigation uncovered wrongdoing and he was let go. Larry Kirksey was a wide receivers coach for the Houston Texans from 2007 to 2013. He has many coaching stops with the San Francisco 49ers, Detroit Lions, and Jacksonville Jaguars. And Marcus Ungaro was a pro scout for the New Orleans Saints in 2018. From 2010 to 2017, he was the defensive assistant coach for the Saints. John McClain of the Houston Chronicle was reporting a slew of hirings for the XFL Houston franchise under head coach / GM June Jones. Most notable was the new director of player personnel, Randy Mueller. He was recently general manager of the Salt Lake Stallions of the Alliance of American Football. Later on, the XFL did confirm these hirings on their Twitter. Mueller is best known as the general manager of the Miami Dolphins from 2005 to 2007 and the New Orleans Saints from 2000 to 2001. He worked with the Seattle Seahawks from 1983 to 1999 and the Los Angeles Chargers from 2008 to 2018. Randy's younger brother, Rick, was most recently with the Philadelphia Eagles as director of pro personnel. Will Lewis was also named as assistant director of player personnel. Lewis was general manager for the Memphis Express of the Alliance of American Football. He played in the NFL and CFL in the 80s with a brief stint as a coach. He later transitioned into the front office. He was with the Green Bay Packers, Seahawks, Kansas City Chiefs. Lewis is the father of Ryan Lewis, NFL cornerback with the Buffalo Bills. Other position coaches he noted were Dan Morrison, quarterbacks coach, John Estes, offensive line coach, A.J. Smith, offensive assistant, Tom Mason, linebackers coach, who we originally had as defensive coordinator. It looks like he's linebacker coach, not defensive coordinator. Dan Morrison was most recently offensive assistant and QB coach for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Estes is a former center and guard for the University of Hawaii. He was named to the WAC All-Decade Team in 2000 with a brief stint in the NFL with the Jacksonville Jaguars and Arizona Cardinals. A.J. Smith was quarterback coach at Jackson State in 2018. Before that, he was a Southern Eastern University quarterbacks coach, and Darius Bell was a defensive back coach at UTEP for 5 seasons. Bell was a graduate assistant under then linebackers coach Tom Mason. XFL Houston adds Dan Kuhn as director of football operations. Daniel Dynamite Kuhn is a former Howard University director of football operations. Before that, he was a recruiting coordinator with Brevard College. He also spent 3 years at Tennessee State University. According to a report by Chicago Bears beat reporter Brad Biggs, Greg Gabriel will be the new director of player personnel for the XFL Washington, D.C. franchise, America's team. That's right, Washington, D.C. is America's team. Head coach GM Pep Hamilton was a Bears quarterback coach in 2007 to 208-209. Greg Gabriel is director of college scouting for the Chicago Bears. He's currently an NFL analyst for Pro Football Weekly and WSCR in Chicago. He worked 9 seasons with the Bears and a couple seasons with the Giants in their scouting department. All right, we'll be back with your social media stuff and so much more right after this. Stay tuned. Listen up, XFL News Hub fans. We got something for you. We have an Android app for your phone. That's right. We're excited to announce the launch of this app, and best of all, it is free. So you get all the breaking XFL news and information from XFL News Hub right on your phone. All you have to do is visit the Google Play Store, type in XFL or near the top, or just search for XFL News Hub. That's right. In the Google Play Store, that's all that you need to do. So what do you get with this app? You get the latest news from XFL News Hub, the premier XFL news source in the world, in the universe. You get push notifications when we post a new story. That's optional. You turn that on and off so you get notifications when breaking news happens. You can leave a comment right from your phone. You don't have to be on the website. You just leave it right on your phone. You can get, of course, this podcast on your phone as easy, and you can leave us a review on the Google Play Store. You can do that too. Plus links to all of our social media accounts. So it's very simple. Just head over to the Google Play Store, type in XFL News Hub, and download your XFL News Hub app for the Android phone today. All right, we are back. Remember to check out our iTunes. Go to iTunes and check out the XFL News Hub app on iTunes as well. Now, we're going to stick with this week's question one more week because I think it's really good, and we're going to get out there. And we usually get some more feedback, but we want to know the best head coach, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator in the XFL. So we're going to keep that out there for a little bit longer. We'll have that for this week as well as next week. Let's start on the Twitter. Mike Mitchell from XFL board said when we were talking about Bob Stoops announcing his coaching staff, he said 3 former college head coaches on this staff. Stoops has always been one of the best head coaches in picking assistants for a staff. This is an excellent group. Add to the mix that Moose is helping and with the player evaluation and the draft. We've talked about this before, but he definitely knows how to put together a staff. Remember to check out xflboard.com where Mike manages that. It's a great resource and lots of good conversation on there. Steve responds. Steve, bunch of numbers, 727930049. Says it's going to be awesome, and Moose is icing on the cake. Already did it in AAF, already did so much of the kind of thing in the AAF ahead of game organizing a startup team and league. Perhaps the AAF folding up is going to be a boom for XFL. Lots of former AAF personnel in the XFL. I totally agree. XFL McGavin and 1N says the AAF folding will definitely help the XFL. Being so similar, it acted like a trial run for them. They'll be able to analyze what worked and what didn't work to make their product better. Also, fans will be more comfortable and used to the idea of watching spring football. All great takes. I totally agree. It was a blessing. Could you imagine right now with the AAF in there? I mean, now granted, other people that we might not have known about as much would be getting a chance to shine in the XFL. But I bet you're going to see a lot of these coaches get into the NFL with some good showings here in the XFL. But it's been definitely the folding of the AAF, and when AAF approached Vince McMahon, I don't know if he had the foresight to be like, well, this is why I'm not going to get involved. I think he was probably like, heck no, goodbye. This has totally helped the XFL. Just like XFL McGavin 1N said, fans are now comfortable with the idea of watching spring football now. They're used to it. They know it's there. Those that were starting to get into the AAF and now it's gone, now they have the XFL. Everything is just lining up in place. I'm telling you, I really think this is going to be a tremendous hit. KMG place to be. When we talked about Chris Miller being named XFL Houston offensive coordinator, he said, love Chris Miller. Yeah, I think that was what a great pick up. Now, the thing with him, Chris Miller, is that he's getting paid nicely, but he's going to coach his high school one more season, I think at the following season or something. So he's going to coach in the XFL now. Then he's going to go back and do a final season, I believe, for his high school team. And what a great, cool thing. I mean, not only do you have a former NFL guy, but now a guy who's working with June Jones in the XFL. Now, granted, they haven't done any games just yet, but to be able to get some experience and talk, and I'm really curious to see how his team does in the fall. And then he's going to be pretty busy because they're going to lead up to kickoff in February 2020. About the AAF, head coach Mike Riley is the new OC for XFL Seattle. Jake Sox says, great news. Coach Riley is a class act. Congrats. I'm happy about that too. Posted a thing about where XFL Dallas posted a thing of Bob Stoops, said name a cooler coach. We'll wait. See Prit 16 named America's team, Pep Hamilton, as his cooler coach. And I agree. There's no doubt about that. Tony Softilli, he works for the XFL Seattle. XFL _endzone talked about excited, go XFL Seattle. He was out there. I'm really excited to Saturday to meet some of these guys and get to talk football. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we'll also, about our article about NFL notables from the Houston showcase, Rich 04 Real says it's great to hear that former NFL and AAF players are getting a chance to play in the game they love. The XFL is doing everything right. Can't wait for the season to start. I'm with you. I think it's going to be a blockbuster. I really think it's going to work well. I'm really excited. On to the YouTube. That's right. We'll throw out there a little YouTube love there for our friends out there leaving comments on YouTube. Gregory left a message about our June Jones video that we put out about, when you guys heard this, June Jones talking about Johnny Manziel. He said, you bring in Johnny Manziel to play in the XFL football for Coach June Jones. I guarantee you they will have an opening, sold-out stadium in Houston. Yeah. There's more on this that we are going to cover on XFL News Hub. And why exactly was Johnny Manziel not at any of the showcases, let alone why wasn't he invited? This would have been an easy win. You had your first coach, Bob Stoops' announcement would set the tone. Then you could have had a showcase with Johnny Manziel, and the big name was Landry Jones, not Johnny Manziel. I don't know. I'm not sold if Johnny Manziel is all that and will succeed in the XFL. I'm not even so sure that they're actually interested in him. Just saying. As Heel says, goes deep about the Johnny Manziel, June Jones thing. It's old news to say this, but XFL News Hub, stop being a broken record and stop reporting about Johnny Manziel coming to the XFL Football League. What if Johnny never even considers joining the XFL? Then what? Then maybe, oh, sorry, we did report that Johnny Manziel will come to the XFL, but we didn't report it 100%. Is that what your excuse will be? You are overhyping these news for us. Now, let me just point out, our biggest day ever was an article about Johnny Manziel in the XFL. Fans are interested, and we found out this week that he said he was interested in playing for XFL Houston, but he wasn't invited to the tryout, the showcase. But nobody reported that. But we're going to get into that later. We'll have an article about that later on in the week on XFL News Hub. Oh, don't worry. I have a take on that, but I'm not going to give it away yet. He goes on, I understand Manziel is a decent football player and home player, and he would give legit fan base in Houston or Dallas team, and he would be an XFL player with recognition and fan interest, but still that doesn't really matter right now. I do believe that maybe XFL will consider him in the league, but that doesn't really sound like, oh, Manziel is coming to Coming to the XFL. Be surprised because this is coming soon, very soon. Please, XFL, bring John Manziel to the league. This is major news, Manziel, XFL. Okay. This is not a clown show and some 10-year-old YouTube news reporters we were talking about. If he is not coming to the XFL, then just forget it. Basically, he reports something fresh, something that you just like a fan are interested in. Maybe talk of some tryout players that you are now trying to get a job in the XFL, which most of the players are excited about, or maybe just talk about what kind of players you would like to see in Houston and Dallas instead of this BS news. As heel, not happy with our Johnny Manziel coverage. On to, hey, we're going to have a little bit, but you need names. I mean, I don't think you need names. I think the product will be itself and they will create names. But there is an interest in him. I honestly don't think personally at this juncture, at this day, the 12th of June, I don't think the XFL is interested in him. I really don't. I think they talked about it, but I still don't think he's ready to go. But maybe he shows up in XFL, the New York or the LA showcases where there's big media markets, and that's what they're planning to. Other than that, but if he's not in any of these showcases, why would the XFL be interested in him? Anyway, about the footballs, we posted that on. He says, just use regular footballs. Pedro is not excited about the new football look. About Mike Riley, the new OC for XFL Houston, Jeff says, fire his beep. He didn't even do anything yet. He must be a college thing or something that he doesn't like him. On to the Instagram about best head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. Chauncey Gilroy says all the coaching hires are great. However, Mike Riley has to be one of the best OCs to be hired. He did some epic coaching while coaching the San Antonio's AAF's team. So he could be on that list. Yeah, I mean, best head coach, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator in the XFL. We want to hear your thoughts on that for next week as well. So give that to us. Now, on to the emails. We got a bunch of them. First, Carl says XFL and Round Rock High School, north of Austin, Texas, relationship with Summer Showcase. He said the AAF used 8 San Antonio high schools as preseason camps for the season. Question, will the XFL use Austin, Texas in a similar fashion? Or more succinctly, what will be the relationship between a high school 9A stadium, which we have coached, Round Rock, Texas, and the TSL, the Spring League, and then the XFL possibly utilizing administration structures in place or what? Carl's interested in what's going on, maybe how they're going to handle that. I'm not really sure. Andrew checking in, potentially taking the title from Nicholas, who is also on the show. Here is my best coaching staff. Director of Player Personnel, Darryl Johnson. Head coach, Mark Trustman, who knows how to win with less and also witnesses a lot of greatness on the field. If I were to put who would be in the XFL Super Bowl, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that. I might get arrested for saying Super Bowl. Apparently you can't say the big game. The big game from the big football league. But the championship game, we got East and West. We know this for certain. If you don't know this, so the Eastern Conference will be New York, Washington, Tampa, St. Louis. Then the West Coast will be Seattle, LA, and the 2 Texas franchises. So it's going to be broken up to East and West. We know that now. Trestman versus Stoops in the championship game. Who would the 2 best coaches? I would put that on. I wouldn't be surprised by that. OC, he's got Mike Riley, a guy who turned around bad program after bad program, can get the best out of his personnel. Plus, anyone who can make Oregon State good has my respect. Defensive coordinator Pepper Johnson, who knows how to win and play and coach like Bill Belichick's system. He has learned from 2 of the greatest defensive minds in Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick. That's a great one. Pepper Johnson. Never thought about adding him. I mean, you got Jerry Glanville, but I agree with you, Pepper Johnson. Special teams, Frank Gans Jr., all the kickers under him from 98 to 2007 have a higher 80% kicking only time. It was low, was 98 to 99. Defensive line, Jim Jeffcoat has a great resume as a player, knowing his position and knowing what to tell players. If you look at the places he has coached defensive line, all got better than the year before. Offensive line, Jonathan Hembach coached the San Antonio last year and was the O-line, seemed pretty solid. Running back Gerald Ingram coached for the Giants, so Brennan Jacobs coach, and he was very good. I'll agree with that. Wide receiver coach Larry Kirksey, only true one to be successful so far. DB's Marcus Ungaro, very good experience with the Saints. There are certain head coaches I think get the nod for some position spots. QB coach, he put June Jones of all the QBs in his system. Tight end, Jonathan Hayes. He was a tight end in the NFL and looked successful for some of his tight ends in Cincinnati. That's true. And Winston Moss, he would be a good linebackers coach in the NFL. Was a good linebackers coach in the NFL. He's also a great coach with Green Bay. And I should know that that's my team. He worked for some average linebackers that made them look great. There you have it. My best coaching staff. Sorry, no coaches for America's team. How dare you? None of our guys were selected guests. They have to prove me wrong. They will, my friend. America's team will rise from the ashes and take it. But no, you got a good takes there. Side note, Brad Kaea is pronounced Kaihu. Jordan Tamanu is pronounced Tahamo. Jordan Tahamo. I appreciate the pronunciation things. Now, if you are old school and listen to the allwrestling.com weekend review, you know that I pronounce screwed up names all the time there as well. It's just, there's a lot of names, man. There are way more names in this football thing than wrestling. So we'll get to it. We'll figure it out. But thanks for the email. That was a great take. Andrew might be taking Nicholas's spot as the number one emailer. I'm just saying. That might happen. Oscar checking in. He said, I attended the XFL LA franchise fan gathering at Buffalo Wild Wings near to the venue where they're going to play their games. Heather Carrots was there, the president of the XFL LA. She was there and she gave us some info. She confirmed that they will not go by as the LA Extreme, the name they used in the original XFL. She also confirmed that they will announce the team names and colors in July. That's right. So you heard it. So she has also confirmed that they will announce the team names and colors in July. We'll have a full report about Oscar, what he sent us over. That was a great take. And if you attend these events and you find some nuggets, man, send them our way. She confirmed the XFL Draft will take place in October. We've kind of known that too. Mid-October, Jonathan Hayes had said. One more thing, she also confirmed training camp will take place in Long Beach, California at LBCC, a community college, Long Beach Community College. That's all the info I can give you. Hope you could share it on your podcast. Sincerely, Oscar, checking in. Thank you, Oscar. All great stuff there, especially team names. Everybody wants to know team names, and now we got it. Heather Brooks Carrots says July is when we get team names and colors. From our Android app, it says, Greg checking in. He says, you guys should let the fans vote on the team names. I don't think they have any interest in allowing fans to do that. Because who knows? That would just be so long. And then there was copyright issues and trademark problems and all sorts of stuff that was mentioned somewhere. And it's a hassle to lock down these team names. So having fans vote and you'd have to trademark a bunch of other ones just would be just too much. Puri C, XFL invitation. I'm a running back specialist from the University of Hawaii. How do I receive an invite to attend the Seattle June 22nd tryout? XFL.com. Click on feedback or FAQ for that information. Chamar says, Ray Buck Jones, my son is waiting for an invite at any camps left. XFL Enzo speaks highly of him for Seattle. All the invites sent out for various teams are left for tryouts. Again, XFL.com/FAQ. We'll send that to him. And finally, ending it with the number one emailer, but I would say you're talking about Nicholas is the first overall draft pick in the XFL draft. But Andrew, I don't know, man. He's getting close. He's starting to make a name for himself. He might be the number 2 overall draft pick of the XFL Army draft. Maybe we should have a draft of the best emailers and contributors to XFL News Hub. We'll have a little draft, our top 10 picks overall. But they're battling it out. Nicholas checking in. If I was the XFL, I'd be reaching out to ineligible players like Chris Evans, running back, Michigan, Zach Gilla, offensive lineman, Clemson, Brandon Galloway, tight end, Clemson. They would be great adds to the league. I like some of the names I have seen from the showcases like Taylor Cornelius, Brad Mays, Daniel Lasco, Arca Cedric Ware, Dondre Douglas, Tywan Jones. The XFL is off to a great start. If I had an XFL roster and picked players, my roster would look something like this. QB Cardell Jones, Justice Hansen, running backs Monte Ball, DeAnthony Thomas, HB Logan Parker, halfback option, I don't know what. Wide receivers Wendell Williams, Simeon Cobbs Jr., AJ Jenkins, Corey Coleman. Tight ends Bucky Hodge, Evan Bayless, Isaiah Searight. Offensive line Jake Fisher, Luke Jockle. Defensive lineman Sean Oakman, Ethan Westbrooks. Linebackers Manti Te'o. I was thinking, he's still in the NFL, isn't he? Zach Virgil, Marcus Smith. Cornerbacks D. Milliner, Justin Gilbert. Safeties Calvin Pryor, Miles Killebrew. I don't know if it would be possible, but how the main part of my roster would look like. Nicholas checking in with all his players in his league. Wow, what a jam-packed show we had this week. Remember, next week's show, you want to be part of the show, follow us. Just email us, podcast at XFL News Hub. Remember, best head coach, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator in the XFL. Give us those 3 coaching spots. Who are the best in those spots? And we'll read it on next week's show. Remember, you can email us, podcast at xflnewshub.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all XFL News Hub. Plus, we have the Android and on Google Play, the iPhone app on iTunes. And remember, speaking of iTunes, leave us a review on iTunes and we'll read it on the next show. And listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, Google, YouTube, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and Stitcher. And remember, I'll see you at the XFL DC Showcase. Backwards XFL hat, that will be me. And if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, check out 1160 AM KBDT Sports Day with John Clemens. That's be on Saturday and Sundays, playing throughout the day. You want to check out yours truly, The Mark, and my take on the XFL. Things are picking up. Really excited. Thanks for y'all checking in. Thanks for listening. Mahalo to all my friends. God bless y'all, and I will see you all later.